Happy 1st of May. If I don't know if anyone is celebrating May Day. Who's here? Sorab. Hi, the first person to say hi. How's everyone doing? Happy month. In Greece, we always say happy month at the first of each month. And it's a beautiful day outside here in the mountains of Quebec. How's everyone doing? I hope you can hear me and I'm not just a bobbing head without any audio. I guess a lot of people may be off today. So Alfoot the Third, Robert Brescia, everyone's here. And today, I don't know if you got the memo, we are going to talk about MoGraph. So, and thank you very much, Sorab, for confirming the audio is good. So today we're going to deal with MoGraph. I have some questions from the forum. And at the same time, I'm going to receive questions from the chats, the Maxon training team and the Maxon YouTube channels here. So let me put my comments on here. Fantastic. Good afternoon from London. How's the weather? Always talk about the weather. And let me bring up my screen. There we go. I think I'm going to do this one here. No. Where's the one? There you go. One that doesn't take up too much space. I'm going to put this on the left. Can I do that? I used to be able to do that. Move this to the other side. Whatever. I don't know how to do that. So let's do me a favor. While if you're posting and you have a question to ask, please preface it with capitalized question. It will allow me to distinguish it from general comments and compliments and all that. 28 degrees. Wow. And that's the real units. It's the ones where 100 boils and 0 freezes, not the other ones, which, by the way, the British invented. Whatever. So let's see. What do we have here? One of the questions I had, actually, I'm going to start with something without, that doesn't, it's not a question. It's something I was working on. I need to just bring up the file over here. There we go. So let's do this here. Good. And let's do this here. So I'm just going to go for a couple of files. So what is what we're doing here? We can use MoGraph, and this is one of the, I would say, not very commonly used techniques, and yet it's extremely powerful. You can create quasi-crowd simulations using MoGraph. And this all, the system, now you can see I have a single character, but these can be different characters. This is just the puppet, and I've just applied one of the motion captures. And you will see that everything, they're not even perfectly timed. And if you have more than one characters, you can do all sorts of interesting things. And this is just by using the cloner's blend mode. Now, a general overview of the blend mode, let's take a look at something quite simple here. And let's take 2 cubes, one that has 1 subdivision and one that has 10 subdivisions in the Y, okay? So we have these 2 cubes. Now, I'm going to call this 10. These are parameters. And what I'm going to show you applies to any of the parameters of any of the cloned objects, or their point positions if both of them have the same point positions. We're going to look at that in a second. And even works with hierarchies, with bend deformers. I think I've done some quick tips on this. But in any case, let me show you very quickly for anyone that doesn't know what this is all about. Let's make a cloner here and let's put it in linear because it's easier to show. And let's just distance this. Now, by default, if I set this to 10, by default, the clone mode is iterate. So what it does, it selects the first one, puts it here, the second one, puts it here, then the first and the second, and the first and the second, and it goes on and on. It iterates between them. But if you go to the blend mode, what it will do, it's going to blend any parameters. So here you can see that this has a parameter of 1 in the segments y. Everything else is the same. The only change is the segments y, which is 10. So you can see now that this is increasing 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. So it's just blending those parameters. Now, the little secret with the blend is that a lot of people, you can use it this way and it's nice and fantastic. You can have a lot of control on the blending. So if you have a plane effector, and let's say we don't use any of the parameters, but there's this magic little parameter here which says modify clone. Now watch what happens to my clones as I'm changing this. If it's 0, then the cloner itself is going to sort of do the linear blending. But if this is more than 0, now the effector is modifying the clone. It's selecting which one of the clones. So I'm going to put this at 100%. Now the effector itself, the value of the effector is either allowing MoGraph to do this or the effector is doing this. And if I go and add a linear field in the y direction here, let's get rid of the color. What I can essentially do is change the number of segments depending on the value of my field. So the 0 value, you can see the arrow of the linear field is here, is going to be the maximum of whatever the blending is. And this is the minimum. So we're going to have the 10 on top and the 0 segments on the bottom. And the great thing is that you can go to this field and we can remap it. So I would go and do a curve. I'm going to bring this curve in the middle and control or command click to go there. And now you can see that the field is, you can see it's doing this little effect. And this can be anything, right? I'm just showing you this. What you see here is just one single parameter. So this, what you're seeing here, this principle of using the blend mode that can blend either point positions, we're going to do an example with point positions, or parameters, and just telling the effector to affect the modify clone parameter. This is what defines the effector's ability to be the mechanism that changes that blending. Without this, it's just MoGraph doing its own little thing. And this is what we're going to use, because I'm going to set this up. I have my character. I'm going to set this whole thing up so you can see what happens. These are Alembics. And what I'd like you to see here, the differences I have. What am I blending, right? This is the question. Let me turn everything off. I have these two Alembics, right? And, they're not doing anything. Why is that? Well, I've baked. I'm going to show you how to bake everything separately. I'm going to middle mouse click here. So I select the whole hierarchy, right? If you middle mouse on the parent, it will select the parent and the children. And what you will see here is that I've turned off use animation. If use animation is on, it's going to do this. I'm going to turn off the use animation. And I can choose which frame of the animation I'm going to use. This is a general Alembic trick you can use where you can select any sequence and just, take a model at a particular position. And because I always like to go in rabbit holes and digress, you can actually, what you can do here is that you can actually right click and say current state to object. And now you have a hierarchy, this one here. I'm going to cut it and paste it in a new document, which only has this pose. This is not an Alembic anymore. So the good thing about doing this with Alembics is that you can go and you can select a particular specific pose from your Alembic. And yeah, I need to middle click. I've been doing the mistake of selecting the topmost parent, but this doesn't have any animation, right? The animation exists on every single one of these things. So if I go now 0, it's going to sit down. I can increase this, okay? Now, one has a frame of 0. The other one has a frame, middle click, of 257, which is the length of the animation. So the difference between these two is just this number. And this number is nothing more than a parameter. And MoGraph can blend parameters. So I'm going to turn on my MoGraph over here. And you can see that the character is sort of a each one has a different frame, so to speak. It's a different time snapshot of time. And that's because the cloner is controlling that blend. The minute I turn on the plane and set my modify clone to 100%, now the cloner is actually, the effector is applying that blend. And what I've done here, I just went to the fields and I have a very, very small amount of a random field, and I need to turn these on. There we go. And a linear field. And I'm just animating this linear field. I added the random effector just to create a bit of randomization, because otherwise you will see the timing, they're getting up exactly at the same time. Whereas you add a bit of randomization, a very small amount, and you will see that now there's a slight differentiation in the timing. If you look at these two characters here, they're getting up at a different time. There you go. And this is how you can create various types of crowd simulations. And funny fact, I was watching a YouTube video, I think yesterday, about Forrest Gump, which is one of those movies that is full of visual effects, but they're all invisible. I think it won an Academy Award. One of them was, I think, at the where's that building? Oh, in Washington, where they have a huge statue of Lincoln, I think. Anyway, there was some sort of ceremony where he was receiving some sort of medal, and the crowd around the pond, that big square pond, was just a bunch of people. They filmed from the same camera, celebrating here. Then the same group changed clothes and sort of moved over there. They moved over there. And then another one where they moved over there. And they just composited all these. It was just a bunch of 50 people. And they did the Lincoln Memorial. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm Canadian. I don't know that. I should have known it because I've read about it, but my brain malfunctioned. Anyway, the Lincoln Memorial. And this is a technique you can do, a similar technique, because if you have too many of these characters, it will start going slower, because the blend mode will not work in multi-instance, because the multi-instance will instance the exact same object, whereas here we have different states of the object generated through this interpolation. So that's why none of the render instance or the multi-instance modes is going to work. So remember, only instance works. And that means we get all the geometry concurrently in the scene. Okay. So in any case, you can do something like this and create animations. You can create quasi crowd simulations and all sorts of other fun stuff. Okay. So let me quickly, since I talked about this in the Alembic, just so that you don't have a gap of knowledge, let me show you how you can bake this as an Alembic. So here we have this scene. How did I set this up? Let me quickly do everything from scratch. This is clapping, sitting. Let me remove everything. So go here and type motion, and you will see all these motions. Somewhere here is clapping, sitting, and clapping, sitting. The one where, is this the one that gets up? No. Oh, which one was it? Rats. It's not this one. No. Clapping. Oh, I think I can do this and find out. Clapping, sitting, insert. Was that insert A? No, it wasn't. I forgot which one I used. Sitting, inserts. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? Because I don't want to search for it again like this, I'm going to search for it here. I'm going to paste it. There you go. So grab this motion from here. There you go. So we have this motion. And then grab the puppet. And male puppet character. There you go. Let's grab this one here. Good. So now we have the motion, and we have our model, whatever that is. And what we need to do is drive the character using the character solver, because it's been set up this way. And we just need the source character. You're going to drag this little bugger in the source character. And that's just about it. So we have now a character that over the duration of the animation. Now, if you brought something else in first and then this, it won't adapt. So all you have to do is go here and look at the last keyframe and adapt your time. Now let's make this as an Alembic. Let's find out where the meshes are. And they happen to be under the male puppet mesh. In order to save this as an Alembic, bake it out, and retain the hierarchy, because for whatever reason I want to add different materials to each one. If you don't care about the hierarchy, you can always go and connect it up. You can put it under a connect object, make sure the weld is off, and it will create one single mesh. But I want these to be independent. So you select everything. So you middle mouse button, and you select everything. And then you right click and you say, bake as Alembic and delete. You don't need to delete it. I'm going to delete it, but go here because this is going to allow you, first of all, to put the end frame. Usually this defaults at 90 frames or something like that. Just make sure you put it at the same final frame. Remove any of these parameters you don't need, just because it may add something. I don't care about any of the other things, cameras and all that. And of course, make sure you have selection only, so that only the ones that are selected here are going to work. And you can press OK, and it's going to bake it down to an Alembic. And there you go. You can remove everything else. I can get rid of everything else and now have my character here, which is just an Alembic. And this is now what I'm going to work with. Don't forget, make sure you remove this because you don't need it. Number one, very important, you don't need it. And it will, if you middle click here, you won't be able to see the parameters because it's selecting not only Alembic objects, but this skin, and the interface is different. So remove this so you can go and change any parameters like the use animation and the frame advance and all that. And this is how you create your two models. You're going to go to frame 0. You're going to make a copy of this, call this 0, make a copy of this, make it end, and just go and put this at 257. And now you have the full range of these two things. Anyway, so that's how you would go about doing this. Okie dokie. Let's see if there are any questions around here. And let's see, comments, quite a few comments. Let me go from the start. Good morning to everyone. And let's see, Dusan, hello. Although all questions are valid, I'm going to try to stick to MoGraph questions. If we do have time, I don't know, but if we do have time, I may go into a few more of these. So I'm just going to mark them here. Excellent. Sharon, hello. Good. Let's say the state of my junior MoGraph weight. Okay, here's a question. It says MoGraph, and it says question. Can we control this, let's say, between n different states of my choosing, but with a MoGraph weight, or by a shader effector, like making letters in a football match stands with people and so forth? The answer is yes. So let's make a simpler example. There was a video. Who sent me that video? Let me show you a video. So this is a video, and it's one. Whoops. It's one of those airport displays. Okay. So we can control these kind of things. So I'm not going to do it with graphics. Let me try and set this up. I decided, because I was going to look at this, I'm going to do this from scratch. And there's, I would say, a couple of methods you can use. I'm going to go with a simple. I'm going to go with something that's fairly simple here. So let's go, and I'm going to do it with planes. I'm going to just do it with a plane, just to make it even simpler, one by one, and point it backwards. I'm going to get an approximate size here. So 100 by, let's say, 50. Okay, good. So this is the thing that's going to rotate. I'm going to make it editable. I'm going to move my axes to the top. I'm going to keep things as simple as possible. Let's go to plus Y. There we go. So my axis now is up there. And I'm going to just go and do an animation of this. So it's never, yeah, oh, it's the second one. Good. Usually it's never the second one. So I'm going to go minus 180. It's going to be my first frame. Then let's time this 5 frames later. It's going to be 0. So go here. Whenever you're doing, I'm going to do a nice little bouncy thing here, which means I want it to accelerate. Then I want it to decelerate, but a bit less. So I'm going to go bonk, and I want it to go up to here. Good. And I'm going to add a keyframe. Excellent. And bonk, and then down again. So I'm going to go down to 0. Set this to 0, another keyframe. And I want to make sure, oops, undo. I need Shift to break this. You can use Shift. And this should do sort of a little bounce. Bonk. Bonk. Yeah, that's a bit too slow. Let's do this. Undo. Let me just do this with a Shift. And use Shift to keep these broken. There we go. Bonk. Yeah, it looks terrible, but it doesn't matter. Okay, let's move quickly with this. So this has an animation, and I'm gonna take a cloner. Let's go and make a few of these and bring them a bit closer. Remember, these are 50. I'm gonna make it 100, and you'll see that they're all sort of animating. They're going to be animating in unison. Now, to get them to animate, you need to reset the coordinates. So it does everything. Or if you do this, you can control the animation using an effector. So let's start from the beginning. I'm going to go here and make sure that this is at 0, 0, 0. Okay. And it goes up, and then the whole thing falls within a few frames. And I want to control this animation using MoGraph. And let's bring them a bit closer. There we go. And increase the number of these and more of these. Good. And just to make them look a bit better, I'm going to go for speed reasons. I'm just going to go to the standard render, create a material, and just make sure that I'm going to use a normal shader. You can do this with normal direction. You can do this with Redshift as well. So color 1 is the front, so it's going to be orange, and color 2 is going to be blue because it's going to be the back, just to comply with what Cinema 4D does here. And that will allow us to sort of see the front and the back of each and every one of these. Okay, so let's go and see how we can play this animation. Now, triggering an animation to play is it's more complex. What we're going to do now is just control the advancement of the keyframes. So in order to do that, you need to tell MoGraph, instead of play, to be in fixed or fixed loop. Fixed in this particular case. Now, it shouldn't play any animation now, because the animation now is controlled by the cloner. Now, you can always offset these, but this is something I'm going to do with the effector, not the cloner. Sorry, I meant the effector. So I'm going to get a plane effector, make sure this is not on, and time offset. So I've got about, how many frames do we have here? 13 frames, all right? So that is the kind of offset I want to achieve here. And basically the effector strength is what's going to give me the animation. And here now, I can get a linear field and drag it outside. And you can see that I'm going to go the opposite way. There you go. So if I want it, the minus X, if I want it to go this way. And this is controlling the animation. Now, if for any reason you want this to show letters, for example, as was mentioned in the question, it's all about controlling how this is going to look. I'm going to make it bigger. And I think I can use render instance because the model is not changing. It's just animation. Oh, it's not. Huh. Multi-instances? Let me see. No, I don't like that. Okay, whatever. Instance. Let's do this and reveal some sort of text. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so let's fix that text first of all. I can go to the plane effector and I can add, let's go and get some text here. I'm going to get a text spline and make it larger and bold, maybe something that has, this is the one that comes up. Let's do this because it's got bold. It will be very pixelated, but we don't really care. So now I'm going to go to the plane effector and drag this in here. Okay, so let's remove everything else. And we need to make sure that we're masking it in the direction of the Z. So there you go. You have, this is what you have here. Now, what's going to happen here, just very simply, when this passes through, it's going to cover everything. So what I can do here is get the text to multiply. So it will negate the effect of, oops, wait a minute. The text is going to, oh yeah, I turned off the wrong one. Sorry about that. There you go. So now as it's moving, it's only creating animation for that particular thing. And anything that can be encoded as a field can be used in this particular thing. Let me give you an example. Let me go and turn these off, all right? What if I want some sort of growing effect that will affect these things animating? How would I do that? Well, for me, the simplest method, right? There are many ways you can do this, is get a plane, raise it up, and make it the same size of the thing you want to affect. And make sure you have enough subdivisions, right? So let's do plenty of these, okay? Now, what am I going to do with this? This is going to be invisible. It's not going to render. For now, I'm just going to leave it visible in the viewport. I'm going to go and add a vertex map. And let me remove my icon just in case I go to the bottom right of my screen and I'm covering something. I always forget to do that. So now we have this vertex map, which I'm going to seed using a little sphere. I'm just going to put a very, very small little seed over here. And then I'm going to use a freeze layer. And I want to grow. And this is going to grow. As you can see, it's growing, it's growing, it's growing. Let's set this to 250 or 600 or 1,000. I don't care. And in the radius here, the freeze, I can put in the radius some sort of noise. And this is something that we have seen many times. I think the first person to do a tutorial on this was my very good friend, EJ. And let's see what this is going to do. And you can see how the noise is growing. Just going to make it grow faster by extending this to, let's say, 30 centimeters. Good. So now we have this value here, right? This vertex map is a value, but so is the text spline and the linear spline. All I have to do is drop this in here. I can make this invisible. And now the animation of these things is going to be controlled solely by the growth of that thing you're doing. Look at that. And the same can be done with a video. So you can go here and instead of a vertex map, you can add a shader effector with some sort of video in it and make these go up and down and so forth. So the bottom line for this is once you get to the point where you can control your animation using a field, then how you drive that field is totally up to you. Totally up to you. Okay, let's see what's happening here with oh, Konstantinos. We have a Greek, another Greek. How many Greeks are here? Raise your hands. Or even wannabe Greeks, all right? Greek, within Greek ancient tradition, a Greek is a person that is educated in Greece. And in Greece, we consider anyone that speaks Greek to be a friend of the country. Um, at certain historical times, this didn't work as well as we expected. But nonetheless, we're quite accepting. If you speak Greek or try to speak Greek, we will accept you. Um, let's see. What else do we have here? We're at the Lincoln Memorial. I'm just reading. Let's see. That's a good question. Unrelated to MoGraph, but related to everything, including MoGraph. How to stay motivated and productive, not easily get bored or distracted while doing 3D? My answer is I do not know. I'm a serial procrastinator and I get very easily distracted. If I find a problem that seems interesting enough to solve, as many of the people that ask questions on Twitter know, I will get into that. But once I solve it, I run out of ideas and I get very bored. So please ask your questions and please send me ideas for all sorts of tutorials and stuff like that. By the way, I want to inform you, I'm going to do an interjection right here in the middle because I want to. So, yesterday, I posted a 4-part series 1, 2, 3, 4 about how to capture facial performances using the moves by Maxon and various ways of using this on your custom rigs. The only reason I did this because it was requested by someone on Twitter. And I'm just going to say the first name. It was Kelvin. And yeah, because you define the needs, your own needs. And by asking your questions, you're giving me some good food for thought to do things. And by the way, I did one more because we were doing the MoGraph thing today. I recorded one more tutorial about how to generate MoGraph data using nodes. Now, this is a bit clickbait, but it works 100%. So watch these, enjoy them, and let's move on. Let's see where we are with our questions. So, there's nothing, no advice I can give you about not getting distracted. I'm very easily distracted, and I have in front of me 6 monitors, 2 on the back, one more computer over there, which I tried to turn it off as well, it's over there. Another laptop there, and a few defunct laptops there. Yeah, I have a lot of toys here. Now, I'm going to answer some of them. It will have to rig a truck or car with a trailer camera attached. Yeah, that would be a good one. Yeah, we're tight on time. I will take a note from this. I'm going to just say hi, Konstantinos. Let's see. All right, let's see this question. It says MoGraph. I saw a video controlling cloner instances with polygon selections. I found a workaround to do it with a Vertex map, but it's still there a fast way to do it with painted maps. When you say controlling, you mean making them visible or not? I mean, you can, right. Let's try something. Yeah, does anyone want to try something fun? I'm going to try something I did years ago, which relates to MoGraph and, drumroll, BodyPaint. Okay, let's do this. And what I'm going to do, I could do it with trees. I'm going to do it with cubes or cylinders. You know why? Because they're little and light, and I just want to get moving with this. Okay, let's do this, and let's do that, and let's put a bunch of these and a bunch of these, and I'm going to set multi-instances. So let's see what we're going to do here. I am going to try, so I'm going to attempt to use to paint on something, and that painting to make cylinders visible. So I'm going to get a plane, going to make it larger. I'm going to increase this to 200 and 200. I'm going to make it editable. All right, I'm going to make it editable. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to save this. Okay, I'm having problems with my shortcuts. So I'm going to call this paint trees. Why I would call it paint trees, I don't know. Okay, so let's go to paint. Let's select paint. And let's go to the wizard. This little magic thing here, wizard. No, that's the selection. The wizard is, there we go. The stars trick me. These stars, this is a wizard. Select the plane, not the cloner. I want the plane. And do next, 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 finish. Okay, and close. So this should have a material on this now. There you go. I have a material. Good. So first of all, let me fill this. I don't know if this is going to go totally south, but that's the fun. So I'm going to use white to fill it. So this is white. And I'm going to go and paint, or I can do black. I'm going to fill it with black. And I'm going to use a white color to paint. Good. And middle click drag to make my paintbrush bigger. Good. Okay. Let's do an attempt to make this work. Let's go to objects. Let's go here and add. We don't have all the menus, so I'm going to go with my shift. I'm going to add a plane effector. And in the plane effector, I'm going to turn on visibility. And in the fields, I could have used a shader field. I'm going to use a plane effector. Anyway, we'll find out if this works. At least the thought process is going to be interesting. So, sorry, let's go here and use a shader field. And let's turn off my face so you can have the benefit of the full screen. And in the shader field, I'm going to go in the field and load the color, because here we find what's loaded. And it's this thing here, the black thing I've done. And now, the moment of truth, if it doesn't work, just erase it from your memories. Or if I can say, I'm going to raise a little light, an LED, I'm going to say, please look into the pencil. Okay, where were we? So this shader effector should control the visibility of the clones. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to paint and press A. So this is not updating. Have I? It's here. And, oh, I need to save it, of course. So I need to save. Do you want to save changes to the texture of this project? Yes. That's unfortunate. Why am I not getting it? I thought once I did this. So the shader field is reading this. Good. And I'm going to try with the shader effector. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a shader effector is going to work. If it doesn't work, just forget about what I'm doing here. And let's go shader effector. Let's do this. Shader effector. And let's go to shading. Let's load this matte color. Oh, so it's got two versions. The saved one with an absolute file. Okay. And this parameters should be not scale, but visibility. I do not know why this is not working. I should be getting something here, unless it's something to do with the UVs. There we go. I think Y minus. Yeah, I need to revisit this. Because this should work now. It kind of works, but maybe my plane is inverted. Yes. So to make, all right, I'm thinking out loud here, and I think it has to do with the orientation of the U's and the V's. But look at this. This is interesting. It's going the opposite way. Okay, well, let's. Oh, there you go. So now it's sort of working. Press A. Yeah, there's something about. So it sort of works, as you can see. It sort of works. What I would prefer to go and forget about body paint. I knew I shouldn't have done body paint, but you know how I am trying all these things. Just go and draw using a vertex map. So let's go other tags, vertex map, and we can just go here and paint on the vertex map. And we don't want this paintbrush. Startup. Oh, we're stuck on the body paint menu. Interesting. The body paint menu has stuck. Yeah. Let's go, because where's my menus? Menus. CNO4D menu. Okay. Oh, it's because I have another tool. Oh my Lord. I do not know why this is the case. But anyway, we'll find out one day. So now that I have this vertex map painting here, sorry for the back and forth, I can add the plane effector with whatever parameters I want. And it can be scaling, it can be visibility, it can be anything we want. And in the fields, we're going to drop this. And now by painting on the object, we can make these visible. So there is a way to paint them. The good thing about painting using Vertex Maps is that it directly affects things via proximity, and you can use the values. So if let's change the right, you can use the values to add scaling and stuff like that. So you can say that I want the parameter to have scale as well and not visibility, and set the scale to, let's do it uniform scale. Let's do a uniform scale of 1. And you can see that now by painting here, I'm changing the scale. And you can use a different map on a different object or a different map on the same object to create for the visibility. So you can call this scale, and you can have another one that's called visibility, and have another vertex map. So I can call this whatever. I'm going to call this scale as well. And I'm going to make another one, other tags, vertex map, call this visibility. And I can go and create another plane effector that has visibility this time. And in my field, the viz is the first one. Call this viz. So the viz has the viz. And I can revert this if I wish. I can go here. If you click once, I think you can go and you can invert this. So now whatever I paint here, I can remove some of these. So I can paint here to change the scale, and I can paint here to change the visibility. And you can do as many of these. You can have one to select clones. Depending on the value, you can have 10 different clones. And depending if it's a light color, it will be the first one, and so forth. So yeah, middle click left and right is size. Middle click, you hold the middle click. Don't just click because it will change views. Hold middle click up and down is the brightness, I guess, of the brush. So yeah, this is how you can do all sorts of painting stuff. So where were we in the questions? So, and again, you can do the same thing with polygon selections and whatnot. Let's see. Let's see. I'm having various requests to add AI. No, I'm not a fan of AI. I have no problem people using it, but I don't. Dean, you're late, but you can watch it in replay. And if you're wondering, go to the Maxon Training Team YouTube channel to watch everything recorded. Fantastic. Let's go. Thank you for your compliments. Can you do the same growth with MoGraph selection or MoGraph weight tattoo? Yeah, yeah. And that's so. This is right. Good, good. Thank you very much. I'm getting inspired by the questions. Okay, because we can control dynamic state using Vertex Maps, MoGraph selections, and MoGraph weights. So we have this, and we have a sphere. And my favorite sphere is 30 centimeters icosahedron. It's 30 centimeters because I like this size, and icosahedron because it's a Greek word. So, and we're going to have a drinking game one day where every time I mention something about being Greek, you're going to have to take a sip. So there we go. So let's work with 25 of these and put them up here. Let's go and make them rigid bodies and add some sort of floor. And I'm just going to make it big and make it invisible. And I don't even need to do that, but I'm going to add a collider. So now we should see that they're going to fall. Okay. So the proposition here is there something we can do to make this, make these, simulate on demand using something? So if you go here, you can set the dynamic state using a MoGraph selection. And when that selection is on, that particular sphere is going to become dynamic. And how do we do that? Well, select your cloner in MoGraph. You need a MoGraph selection. And the first thing you need to do is click somewhere to create a selection. Here is this little thing. And here's your tag. Now, by definition, this is a tag which you can paint on. But we can use fields and get rid of the freeze which recorded what I painted. So what's going to happen now is that if you go here and you say, well, this is my MoGraph selection that controls the dynamic state of these, right? So this, yeah, I just need to clear it. I need to make sure it's clear. There you go. So nothing is dynamic now because there is no MoGraph selection. But because this is a field, you can either create a linear field or whatever field. You can see now that only the ones on the higher side, threshold of 50%, they're going to grow. All right. So that's cool. But what if I don't want a linear field? What I want to do is kind of make a cascading thing. It starts from somewhere and starts growing and whatnot. Well, we can do that as well. So let's go and add multi-instances will work with that, and always make sure that you go here and you clear this. For some reason, it records it. And let's go and add more of these. So let's add 15 and 15. And I'm going to go here and add my first little seeding because I want a little seedling for this to work. Let me get rid of the Z. So I'm going to go here just to start these. We should see that fall. Good. And then on top of this, I guess we can go and add a freeze layer in the same way, make it grow. Make sure that the growth distance is as bigger. What we have here, it's 100. So I need to make sure that my growth distance is the radius here is at least 110, and it will grow like that. So it's growing. Now, if you want to be able to see that growth, instead of putting your freeze thing here, you can do what I did earlier with the plane. You create a high resolution plane and you add a vertex map and you use that vertex map in here to create the same growth. So yeah, that's, but I hope I didn't miss the question. But anyway, so this was go MoGraph selection or MoGraph weight tag to. Yes, and the weight tags is the same thing. It's just adding some sort of value. You can use that in anything you want. The one thing that is interesting, I think I made a quick tip about it, is this update MoGraph matrix, which you can use with MoGraph weights. And it allows the simulation system to read the position of the object, the simulated position of the object, and do all sorts of things. Check out University for more information. Okay, let's see. Yasu to you too. For anyone that's wondering, yasu comes from the Greek word υγεία, which means hygiene, right? That's where hygiene comes from. And in Greek tradition, every salute, or when people buy things, and when someone sneezes, we say me ya, which means enjoy it in health, or something like that. And when you say bye or hi, you say ya, so health. So it's all about health. Just in case you didn't know, yasu means ya su. Su is you, so health to you essentially, but it's condensed. Okay, I'm gonna just put this on it. I don't know if I'm gonna answer it. Material in Redshift Camera Distortion slot. Uh, I think you can. Is it? Can you? Yeah, I think you can. I think you can. You need to use uh, green colors and red colors, which are something like that. But I think you can. Okay. How to pack a volume with spheres which are different sizes. I did when I was doing a lot of a lot of medical stuff and training and so forth. Um, there are a couple of techniques. I'll show you my favorite. I'm just going to show, because this is one of the things. It exists in some of the tutorials I have, but they're quite older. So let me show you this. I'm gonna show you how to pack a volume with spheres. It requires a few steps, but let's go and do it. Let's get our baseline sphere, 100 centimeters. And let's say I want to fill another sphere, a spherical volume. I'm going to make this 30, an icosahedron, for reasons I cannot say. Make this bigger. I'm going to fill this volume here. I'm going to call this a volume to fill. Okay. Now, I'm going to make this invisible, or I'm going to right click, go to the render tags display, use lines and isopalms, because it looks cool. Look at this. Whee! And make sure it doesn't render. Although I'm not going to render this. These are all habits. Now, let's get a cloner and create a grid using multi-instances, where these are fairly, I would say, are going to touch each other a bit. And we have enough to fill this volume. So 22, 22, 22. Make sure it's 60, 60, and 60. So we have these little spheres here. Now, what I'm going to do is fill, if you go down here in the grid, we can fill cubic, spherical, cylinder, or object. If you select object and you put this in here, it's going to truncate anything that's outside the volume of that object. Now, there are many other ways to fill volumes, but this is one of the fastest ones, right? And it just removes the external one. Now, let's go and create different sizes, okay? So let's go here and use a random effector in scale mode. And let's do a uniform scale. And this, just to get a bunch of non-uniform spheres, right? There we go. Now what happens is that if you add a push apart effector with the radius of the original sphere, which is 30, you would say that, yeah, but some spheres now are bigger because of the random, and some spheres are smaller. But here's the trick. The push apart takes into account, providing the scaling happens before the push apart. If you go to effectors, first we randomize them, and then we push them apart. What's being randomized here is not the radius of the sphere, it's the scaling from the matrix, this scale here. So the push apart is aware of the size of each of these spheres. So what you have in this particular case is a very good case of spheres that do not overlap. And if you set this to a couple of centimeters larger, you even get a buffer. Make sure you increase this a bit. And from this point onwards, what you could do is then just use simulations. But at this point, right now, we have no overlapping spheres. You know, you can look at that traveling to the center of this mess. As long as you click on another surface, look at that. We went through the mess. And let's go and do that. I'm going to go and remove, I don't know why I'm doing it, but I find these things to be very much fun. Let's remove the gravity. Let's make this a rigid body. Make sure that the collision shape is sphere, or the auto is going to revert to a sphere. I'm just making it a sphere. And no gravity. Press play. Let's see how long this is going to take. I'm going to have a sip of coffee. The fact that they're moving around means that there is a bit of overlap, which may well be because of the search, the radius. So, which means the thickness of these objects. So let's see. Give it a couple of seconds. Even less. So what I'm going to do is make sure that my push apart has more. See, iterations, because it creates an iteration. It goes slower every time you iterate. And let's set this 35. See, it takes a few seconds to see how many of these. But even if you do have some of these, there you go. Nothing moves. That means there is no overlap. But even if you did have some sort of overlap, one thing I like to do is go to the simulate and add a force. And force creates a mutual gravity between each and every one of the objects. So it's going to try and coalesce them, bring them together. So initially, they're going to distance themselves, and then they're going to start filling in the volumes. So now they're nicely settled. So there are very little gaps. And from this point onwards, I think you can go here and custom shape initial state. There you go. You have your initial state. Set your initial state. And if I'm not mistaken, this is where this is going to start now. Ooh. Why did it explode? I do not know why it exploded. I do not know. I need to look into that. So get rid of all these. Okay, I can't get rid of all these. I need to look into this. It could be a little gremlin, right? Initial state. Okay, I'll take a look into that. But this will be the method by which you're going to go and create this. Okay, let's see where we are now in the questions. Ba-dum-bum. So this is what we answered right now. Bagman. No, because I'm much smarter than AI. What AI has over me is a better memory, but it has more false memories. Anything I remember is accurate. I don't hallucinate. Let's see here. You love it because of the experiments. Yeah, it's mostly what we do is entertainment, but we try to add an educational element to it as well. I think it has something to do with taxation. Anyway, let's see. What is this question? Let me read it. If I want to do a simulation that includes cloth, rigid bodies, and particles, but I want different modifiers to affect different objects, how can I isolate modifiers to specific objects? It depends. Different parts of the simulation have different ways. Yeah. Can you animate or blend vertex maps? Yeah. By the question is, what do you mean animate? You can bake them. You can change. You can make the changes and then cache them to an Alembic with the mesh. That is one of the ways because you can cache them. What else? Can you do a point cache? I'm not sure. But if you can come up with a bit more specific, because you can animate. Do you mean a static vertex maps? Okay, let's try and let's try and so break this down. Okay, make this editable, and let's go and create, right-click a vertex map. Okay, so we have vertex map here, and this is called 1. And we have another vertex map, other tags here, and this is called 2. And you want to animate between 1 and 2. Yes. Let's say we want to make some sort of reveal, or I don't know, a mix. Well, you create a third one. I'm going to call this, guess what I'm going to call this? I'm going to call it 3, or 1 plus 2, which equals 3. And you're going to go here, use fields, and drag this one, and drag this one. So now you can sort of do this, or use a mask, or do a noise revelation, or whatever. So that would be a way to do it. And you can do some sort of keyframing. I don't know if this is going to work. And yeah, you can animate them, I guess, if this is what you want. Okay. Oh, more Greek words. Kalispera, which means good evening. Okay. Or afternoon. Depends. We don't have evening and afternoon. Yeah. Update matrix saved me on a project. Yes. Any news when the fluid simulation is going to be implemented? See, I asked the question and I'm not going to reply, because even if I know, I can't say. The information that's out there is the information that's out there. Okay. What is this? I'm losing constant. Instead of using an image file, I know I would like to know if it's possible. Oh, between Redshift Camera and material. I don't know. Hit me up on Twitter and let's take a look at that. Okay. We have put a ramp on Redshift Dome. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, because I didn't. That is something. If you feel my advice in terms of new features and all that, you're wasting your time telling me, because it won't make any difference. If there is a let's say a large number of users that expect something to work in a specific way, the best way is to contact Maxon through the official channels for ideas and stuff like that, because they do monitor those things. They do monitor. It's just one of those things where everyone thinks that they don't have a voice, so they don't. They self-censor. So most people will not send an otherwise good idea to Maxon, because everyone thinks, Maxon's not going to listen to me. But then more people would have the idea, and if everyone thinks that way, then Maxon is never going to get the memo, right? So there are channels of communication. Send requests, talk to support if you feel that something's not working well. Talk to customer support, go through the channels. The more these things become obvious to Maxon, the more chances they are going to be addressed, because the list of things to do, the requests we get and all that, we can be developing constantly, 24 hours a day, 1,000 people writing code for eternity, and we will never be able to implement all these ideas. So make sure your ideas are heard, so that Maxon can prioritize. Okay. Let's see. Right, let me go, because this is a two-part question. I was trying the other day to replicate a fun setup from Modo, wrapping an extruded shape like a flower spline, then passing a sphere through and having the wrap conform. So to replicate the shrink wrap, but it looked unnatural. You need to contact me with this. I can't. Yeah, my brain has it needs a while to grasp a concept. When it does, then everything is fine. Because I'm old, and sometimes I need a restart. Okay. Oh, that's a good question. Should we contact at Maxon? That's a good question. I think there is something here that says post report bug idea. That's one way. So you go here, or you go to Maxon support. So try through Cinema 4D, say it's an idea, write down your ideas, and of course, report bugs. If you have bugs, report them. If you have crashes, please send the crash report. And Maxon is not going to use your personal data. Please, if you can, sign up for analytics. Allow Cinema 4D for analytics, because we need a better image. I understand we live in times where your personal information for some companies is the most important asset. Maxon doesn't do that. Maxon is based in Germany. The laws in Europe about the personal information of people are ridiculous. And I'm a conspiracy theorist when it comes to how companies are using our data. Okay. I feel that they're counting the number of hair I have in my beard, because that's somehow going to help them. And yet, I know for a fact that Maxon is extremely not only careful, but only uses and takes the data it requires. So if you can turn on the analytics so that crashes and all those things, the sessions you're running, it's anonymous. It has nothing to do with your license or anything like that. And Maxon gets a general idea of how Cinema 4D and the other products are performing. So you, in the long run, it is going to be a service to all of us, because it gives Maxon a better idea of how the software is used and what are the pain points. Okay, so let's see. And we have personal testimonials here. Seems to listen a lot more than other software companies. Okay. Okay. Uh, yeah, because we like to make better products. All right. And you know, we're trying very, very, very hard. So, projection deformer, maybe. Yep. For the previous question. What time is it? Oh, it's 8 minutes past 12. I have a couple of minutes. I'm just going to go quickly through here. Uh, let's see. Yeah, the construction tools and the measuring and all that. Yes, that will be something good. Um, what is this? Hi, Noseman and everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello. Extruded architecture. Good. Is there a way to spread a group of same objects with different frequency? For example, plants usually are spread in groups of some species. Any idea of control it easily? Well, there's no automated way to do it. You can set it up in various ways. Um, Let me actually. I have a good idea for a MoGraph tip here. Okay, so so so. Okay, think about this. I'm going to create a cloner. I'm going to have three types of objects. I'm going to have the cube tree, which is like this. It's a magnificent tree. I'm going to have the sphere bush, which is kind of like this. And I'm going to have the conifer tree. That's why it's called conifer, because it's conic. But anyway, I want to make a pun of this, right? Now, these three trees grow in different frequencies, right? Okay. So let me go, and I'm going to do a very quick one, multi-instance, and put 30 and 30 of these, all right? Good. And I'm going to randomize it. I'm going to make this very, very quick. So randomization. Now, what are all these trees about? So the sphere bushes, they grow more. So we want more of these. And I want them to be, because this is a random distribution, it's going to have approximately the same number of cone fir trees, same number of sphere bushes, and the same number of cube trees. All right. If I want to have more cube trees, what I have to do is copy that over here. So now we have double the amount of cube trees. Now triple the amount of cube trees. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to have 20% of these, 20% of these, and 60% of these. So even a simple hack like this, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is 100 divided by 6 would be 18, something like that. And is it 18? Yeah, divided by 6, around 18 or something like that. So it's 18% plus 18% plus 18%. That's 54%. So about half are going to be cubes, and then 80% this and 36% this. So this is a very fast way for you to do that. Now, in terms of how much space they take up, that's a different thing altogether. There are no uh, automated ways, but if there's a specific algorithm, in the sense that if you can explain how something would work, that means that there's a high chance that this can be explained algorithmically. And if that is the case, that means that there's a good chance this could be done using nodes. So that will be an interesting thing to investigate. And since our parent company, Nemetschek, is very focused on engineering and architecture, maybe a solution like that will be something that more of our clients or potential clients may want. So what I want you to do, you have work to do now, extruded architecture. You need to uh, get in touch with me, either through the form. Go through the form. I'm going to give you the links in a second. Remind me who you are, and I'm going to allow me to contact you. You have to specifically say we can, and I'm going to check this in the next few days, or for immediacy, just go on Twitter and find me, and just in case. There you go. This is who I am on Twixer. All right, that's who I am. And where am I here? I lost my chats. There you go, my comments. So contact me and tell me, maybe that will be an interesting project. News project. And yes, send a message, the GIF or something like that. Mm-hmm. Let's see, what else do we have here? Yeah, there's an answer from Sohrab. Use MoGraph Weight Map with modified clones, spread them as I like, even different noises and different opacities. You can check out in the quick tips. I used to do some quick tips that had to do with the certification, and there is a way for you to control which cloner is going to be applied. So I think this is going to be the last thing I'm going to show today. I just need a second to find it. So let me go here and it's let me just 1 second. 1 second. Oh, I just missed it. There we go. Now it's coming. MoGraph setups. Is this the one? No, it's not the one. Give me a second. I have so much stuff. 1 second. And I have so many. MoGraph Dynamics, MoGraph Tracer. Why did I do this to myself? Of setups. MoGraph. No. Maybe it is. No, that's Morph. Be patient. Be patient, people. I don't believe it. Ba-da-ba-ba. Sorry for the gap. Oh, anyway, I'm going to just do it here for whatever reason. So we have a tall object, and we have a shorter object, and we have a little object here, okay? And I'm going to call this 1 for tall, 2, and 3. So I did talk about the blend mode here, but there's another mode, the sort mode. And what the sort mode does, it allows you to choose which and every one of these based on some sort of uh, effector or something like that, using a similar method as the blend. So let's assume I want to put the taller ones here and the shorter ones down here. And let's add more of these on the Z. There we go. So what you would do is you set this to sort mode, then you would add your plane effector. Make sure the plane effector is set to modify clone. You can see, so it's choosing the appropriate clone. And then all you have to do is just add your field, your linear field, or whatever you need here to control which one you're going to choose. So you can use values to choose between them. And usually, the usual way it will go is let's make 10 of these and one of these. You can sort of measure it, the percentage, how much, you know, where it's going to choose what. And you can always experiment if you're not sure how something is working. Just experiment. There we go. So you can see here we have approximately a third. So if I make these 9, you will see that's what it does. So it chooses the values from 0 to 33.3% is the first one, from 33 to 66 is the second cloner, and so forth. So you can use a sort mode to do that if you want to select using fields. Okay. Let's see. Where are we here? If there were 2 plus objects with the same displacer and wiggle motion, how would you get them to attach to each other and sync their displacer wiggle motion? I don't know what you mean. These are the kind of things that, yeah, contact me, send me some sort of reference, or let's discuss this. And this is the last one I'm going to go with. I find it hard to always retain information. If I learn something, if I don't practice it within a month, I've forgotten. Do you have advice, good habits, how to maintain knowledge? Okay. This is an excellent question, and I'm going to make my face huge. I'll tell you what I did. I started making tutorials. As ridiculous as this may sound, one of the reasons I started making tutorials was so I don't forget. And because I will forget whether I make the tutorial or not, I have something to reference this. My problem now is that I forgot I've done tutorials. I was even asking a question about something people knew because I did a tutorial about. So it's not foolproof. There's nothing really you can do about it. And, you know, memory enhancing things, I don't know, just try and be happy and stress free, and your memory is going to be better. But yes, Saurabh, this is correct. And very accurate. Teach. That's why I like I like to suggest to people to try and undertake some sort of mentorship. Find a mentee, join various discords or various forums where people frequent and ask questions and all that. It's not only the help and the value you provide to other people. It's that you do evolve as an artist, you do evolve as an engineer, you know, a TD or doing these things, because always someone you're mentoring is going to ask a question you may have not thought about, or something you. What I found was that my brain works in a very particular way, and I realized very early in my teaching career, so to speak, that not everything I see as obvious is actually obvious. And it's not about the complexity, it's about the way, the point of view of seeing something. And this has taught me more things because I'm looking at things from different perspectives as well. Because the mentees or the students will always ask questions from their original point of view, and their minds are not tainted and not fatigued by constant interaction with the same tools and the same software and so forth. That's why I'm asking all of you constantly to ask your questions. Contact me on Twitter as much as you can, because you are the window to a world I may not have access. Anyway, so yeah, I think I'm going to do my don't go, just stick around so we can do the housekeeping. So let me do the housekeeping. First of all, I'm going to bring up my screen. That's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to maximize it. And then I'm going to bring it up. See, I have to tell myself what to do. Otherwise, I'm going to mess things up. So let's go to the very beginning. Please use this link, because this link, I'm going to paste it, tells us how you got here. So if you just go to the events page and all that, we as a training team and the shows we do not get the credit. So we need to make sure that if we are doing anything which benefits you, if we are doing shows that you like, that Maxon gets that information. So by using these UTM links, they know that this link you're going to post here came from Master Trainer. That's why the different shows have different UTM links, and it's very helpful for us. This is similar to when you call customer support at your cell service or any provider. They say you will get some sort of questionnaire if you can answer it and mark us at 10, maximum. So maybe we need to do that, Maxon, and start having bragging rights of how many likes everyone got. Okay, Maxon events. Here where you ask your questions, go through the form, fill it up, allow us to communicate. We can't get to all the questions. I understand that it will be great if I could do this full time, just answering people's questions. Unfortunately, I cannot. I have to pick and choose and deal with the most popular things, or the things that will have more of an impact. So I do apologize if I don't get to your question. Let's go to the Maxon events page, where you can see what's going on, what shows we have, which shows Maxon is participating in. And we're going to FMX. I've been there. If you're in Germany, go. It's a fantastic show. Barcelona, off, and various other events that are happening. Maxon Training Team YouTube channel. The two main Cinema 4D channels, Maxon YouTube and Maxon Training Team YouTube channels. This is where you watch these live. If you want to watch them recorded, only the Maxon Training Team will have the session recorded, and it will have the timestamps and comments kindly provided by a very good friend, mentor, Dr. Sassy. And it would be great if in the comments you send him hello as well. He's always looking at the forums and helping people. And there's an enormous amount of work that Dr. Sassy does behind the scenes. And we're all very, very grateful. Maxon, go check out Ellie's newest. That's Max. That's Max. That's not Ellie. And I think this was part of a partnership that. Oh, the color grading of the luxury perfume. There, yeah, this is a bottle that Ellie did, and then our good friend and colleague Max did the colorization. If you want to learn more things about our products and how to be a colorist and all sorts of other things, please follow the rest of the product videos and go and check out the NAB shows. I think mine was the one I enjoyed most. So let's keep going here. Max on ZBrush. Go learn ZBrush. Now, coming to a couch in your living room, you can sculpt on your iPad. I mean, how cool is that? You can sit on your couch and you can tell your boss that you're working. If you're your own boss, you can tell yourselves that you're working and feel much better. Syniversity, just scour Syniversity. We have an enormous amount of information here. And let me know how you feel about these. If you need more information, if you're working on a project, it's fun. If you use any of these techniques, let me know. Always makes me happy. And if there are tweaks or niche things you're trying to do, please let me know. I'll be very, very glad to help. And on that note, I want to thank everyone for participating again. You make the show. And I'll see you in, I guess, maybe a couple of weeks or something. Check out the schedules and the events page. And yes, thank you. Now I need to click on the right buttons here. So self-producing here. I told Maxon not to trust me. He didn't listen. Okay, here it is. You're going to see a QR code. I'm not even sure it works, but give it a shot if you don't want to type the UTM links. And again, take care, everyone. Enjoy your 1st of May, and I'll see you soon. Toodaloo.